Hey there guys! So today is going to start off a 2-week tutorial series on what I think is one of the most fun things that you can possibly do with poi, which is throws, or some people call them releases. We're going to start off this week by playing around with throws that involve the poi and handle continuing to rotate after you've released them. And next week we're going to talk a little about what I would call float-based throws, that is, throws that are built around minimizing the rotation of the poi or arresting it to a place where the poi rotates as little as possible in the course of the throw, right? So this week is going to be isolated throws, and I guess I would call these flower throws for lack of a better term. Let's start off with a word on hardware. Now, you'll note I'm using a set of poi that has these lovely little knob-like handles on the end. Now, I definitely think that these are the easiest kind of hardware to learn how to do throws with, but by no means should you consider this to be exclusively the domain of poi that have these kind of knobs on them. You can do these kind of throws with poi that have handles that are finger loops. The trick is that you've got to disengage those finger loops from your fingers before you can initiate these throws. So you either have to hold them between your thumb and forefinger like this, or hold the tether in the palm of your hand like this. Either which way, you have to be able to let go of the poi and have it separate from your body entirely, right? Now, we're going to start off here with isolated throws because I consider them to be the easiest of all type of throws. You can start off with isolated throws literally by just rotating the poi backwards and practicing letting go when the poi head is away from your body. And you're going to find a whole bunch of behavior with this at first, depending upon what type of poi you're using, how stretchy they are, etc., ranging from jumping back behind your shoulder to maybe you're going to have to jump out in front to catch it, what have you. What you're ideally looking for, however, is to try and find this moment when the poi head is directly out in front of your hand like this, horizontally. And when that happens, you're either just going to let go, depending upon how stretchy your material is, or you're going to give the handle just a slight flick downwards. And what that's going to do is it's essentially going to change the point of rotation. And as you can see in the case of my handles, because they have very, very little weight on them, that point of rotation winds up being inside the poi head itself. It switches up the rotation from being in the poi head to being in the poi handle, right? If you have heavier handles, you're probably going to notice a point of rotation that is further down the tether, say closer to the middle. Depending upon what you're looking for, this is totally a thing that is to individual taste. If you like having it rotate around that point center in the tether, add more weight to your handle. If you'd prefer to see it rotate around the poi head, take weight away from the handle. Yeah? Cool. So now you're at this point where you're giving that handle just a little bit of a flick and getting the poi to rotate around in space. Now you'll notice that what should be happening is the handle is coming back around to land right where your waiting hand is, right? Which is awesome, but it also adds another dynamic to it, wherein when you catch the poi handle, gravity is going to take the poi head and it's going to want to spin the reverse direction of the one that you just let it go in. So, for example, this feels like reverse to me. If I let go with an isolated throw and then started rotating again, it's going to feel like it's rotating forwards in relation to me, right? This is actually a trait that you can use to your advantage. Let's say you're coming from a place where like you're doing a reverse weave and you want to switch into split time opposites. Well, you can open up, do an isolated throw, and it'll automatically pop you into the correct direction. Sometimes you have to do a little tweaking to get the timing right. But isolated throws are a great way to switch direction when you want to play around with timing and direction shifts. Poi Boy, among others, is absolutely fantastic at using throws for this purpose. But it does bring up the question, what if you want to keep the poi rotating the same direction when you catch it as it was when you let it go? Well, then this is the throw you're looking for. And as I mentioned before, I'm calling this a flower throw for lack of a better term. I don't know if there's a better word for it, and those of you watching out there can definitely leave comments if you know of a better term. But Essentially what this is going to do is it's going to mean that instead of releasing and catching the poi on the same side of your body, you're going to be releasing the poi on one side of your body and catching it on the other side of your body. If I just do it with the single poi, I'm rotating clockwise right now because that's my dominant direction of spin. I am going to let the poi go now when the poi head is pointed straight up at the sky above my hand on my left side, that is my non-native side, and the poi is actually going to flip around in midair. And when I get to this point where the poi head is straight up and the handle's directly below it, I'm going to catch the handle, and what that results in is that I can pull the poi straight back into the rotation that it had before. You're going to have to give the poi a little bit more energy to complete this kind of rotation. And it looks great when you do it, say, like integrating it into a wall plane waist strap, like so. It comes when you're switching to the reverse weave side, when you're reaching the hand in question underneath, you get to toss it up and over, right? When you're first trying this out, if you had the same problem that I did, what you're likely going to find is that you're not getting enough rotation on it, and you'll be, catching it like this with the handle above the poi head, and having to pull the poi out rather awkwardly, like that. The way to get around that, honestly, is you kind of, just like with the isolated throws, you kind of flick the handle just a little bit as it's leaving your hand. And it takes some finesse in order to really figure out where the butter zone is on this. But really see if you can check that moment when the poi head goes past your face, and then get the handle to rotate all the way around when it's on its way to the other side of you, right? And that should be all you need to get it moving, yeah? So, I will see you guys next week for the first installment of float throws. And we will have a jolly good time with that, yes? Thank you for watching, and have a great week. Peace.